Alright everyone, so I'm about to go down the mountain. I got my man Mike right here, Moto Mecca. He is going to follow me down with my second camera so you can see my brake light as I'm talking. So this is why you are nervous going downhill. So let's just think about things as like a conceptual way, right? When you're going downhill, if you get off the brakes before you lean, okay, you're going downhill. So you're essentially going to start to accelerate. Now, car drivers already know how to do everything I'm about to say. Trail brake. So they already know how to do this. No car driver going down the mountain, brake, let go of the brake and just turn the wheel, because they're going to pick up too much speed, right? So you do the same thing on the bike. The main thing here is for downhill, reason why you're still nervous, you have to be able to better control downhill speed. So right now if I brake, I'm off the brake. Now I'm just picking up speed because I'm going downhill. You see what I'm saying? I'm off the throttle, but gravity, this should be obvious. Even though it is obvious to everybody, so many people are off the brake way too damn early, and that's what causes them to freak out, and then they have way too much lean angle, or they panic and grab the brake, or they're like, oh my god, lean and pray, and they lose the front tire for all these different situations. So this is what you want to do. So you want to go through the corner no matter what speed, even at gentle speed, like right now, brake light's on. Look at, I'm keeping the brake light on as I go to about mid-corner, control that mid-corner speed, and then once it gets pointed, then I can accelerate up and out of the way. Now obviously, like right now, this corner doesn't need any braking, so I didn't brake whatsoever. I was just kind of zero throttle. But it just, a lot of things depend on the pace you're going, right? The faster you go, the more brakes you need. The earlier you have to start braking, the more pressure and the longer you have to keep the brakes on. But let's just say you're riding at a chill pace, you still need to understand braking and keeping the brake light on past tipping. So pretty much going downhill when you're going at a good speed, the brake's going to be on to the halfway point. It's just, if you don't do that, then you're going to go on the lean and hope technique, and that's not a technique. Lean and pray, that's what I meant to say. If you don't trail brake going downhill, you're leaning and praying, and that's not good. So here's a perfect example. Look, going through, zero throttle, on the brake, on the brake, on the brake, on the brake, on the brake. I'm trailing off slowly, I'm still on the brake, controlled mid-corner speed, now I'm pointed. Now I can accelerate if I wanted to. You see what I'm saying? So I got the next corner coming up, I'm going, I'm gonna start on the outside, zero throttle on the brake, build up some pressure. As I start to lean, I'm slowly releasing. The brake light's still on, slowly releasing. I'm comfortable with my speed and direction. Now I'm off the brake, back on the throttle a little bit. Now I can accelerate when the bike is pointed. Roll off throttle, on the brake a little bit, control, get the bike pointed where I want it to go, then I can go back on the throttle. So an easy way to gauge all this stuff is stay with the brakes until you are comfortable with what? The speed you're going, and you're on the right line. On the brake, on the brake, on the brake, slowing down. I'm off the brake because I'm comfortable with my speed. I'm on the right line. Now I'm waiting until the bike is pointed, then I can start to accelerate. Roll off the throttle, let it turn, back on the throttle, off the throttle, on the brake, on the brake, on the brake, on the brake. Let it get turned, then you're off the brake. So don't be in a rush to get off the brake. That's the main point. And right now I'm going at a very easy pace to kind of talk and demonstrate. I'm gonna start picking up the pace a little bit more here so you can see, and I'll kind of narrate going through. But right now, brake light's on all the way to right there. I still have my fingers on the brakes. I want to control mid-corner speed. That's what you have to understand. Controlling mid-corner speed is the absolute key for downhill. Now, since I'm talking about downhill, how would all this apply going uphill? So uphill, you're probably going to be off the brake. You can still trail brake, but you'll probably be off the brake before the halfway point earlier, right? Because gravity will keep slowing you down while you're at zero throttle. But going downhill, if you're off the brakes too early, it will speed you up because of gravity, right? So okay, so now I'm going to go a little bit quicker. On the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes, right? I'm not going to jump off the brake right here because then I'm going to be going too much mid-corner speed, causing too much lean angle, okay? So let me do that, and I don't even like it. Look, I'm going to be on the brakes, off the brake, let go, and I'm like, holy fuck. Look, I went back to the brakes because that's crazy. To get off the brake and just lean is nuts. That is very, very scary, and I do not have any control over the bike. Lean and pray is what people do when you're off the brakes and then lean, and then that is not a technique. That is what you default to when you don't know what the hell you're doing. So if you're riding around going downhill and you see someone off their brake completely before they lean the bike, just know you could tell very easily that guy does not know what he's doing. Because downhill at a quicker speed on tight roads like this, not some big fast sweeping turns that are damn near straightaways, But on a technical road like this, if they're off the brake going downhill before they lean, they don't know what the hell they're doing. And they're very, very close to riding the line between staying upright and crashing. Look, on the brake, slowly release the brake, control your mid-corner speed, off the brake, wait, it's pointed, throttle. Off the throttle, on the brake, slowly release the brake, control that mid-corner speed, put the bike where I want, throttle. So going downhill, there's almost no neutral throttle, because by the time you're off the brake, the bike is pretty much pointed at the same time. Look, still on the brake, off the brake, crack open the throttle to maintain a little bit, back on the throttle. Roll off, let the bike lean, steady throttle, steady, and accelerate, brake, see brake light still on, slowly release the brake, let the bike turn, get pointed, accelerate. Roll off a little bit of brakes, let the bike turn, accelerate. Roll off the throttle, light pressure, control that mid-corner speed. Right here is what you need to control, and then back on the throttle. So slow in, fast out, right? But once you learn how to use the brakes, you'll realize very quickly you can kind of go like fast in, fast out. But if you try to go too fast in the middle of the corner, that's where people have all these problems. They grab the brake, they lean and pray more, they go wide. So controlling mid-corner speed is the key. So that's where you want to go slow, mid-corner. You go fast in, fast out, but mid-corner is what causes the issues. Look, I'm on the brakes. Here, I let go of the brakes, I just leaned. Dude, look, I went right back to the brakes because that is scary. I don't even want to do that, even at this easy, chill pace. So I'll do it again. I'm like purposely freaking myself out. Look at, so I'm going fast, on the brake, off the brake. Now I'm just rolling through. Nope, I go back to the brakes. I cannot do that. Even if I wanted to do it for the video, it's freaking nuts. I have no control, right? So just don't do that. Next time you go down a twisty mountain, right? Not for every turn, because every turn you don't have to brake, but for the turns that you have to brake, do not get off that brake before you lean. Just, you want to stay on the brakes, very light pressure, just like they say in Champ School. Lighter pressure, but longer duration, okay? But remember, the whole point of all this stuff is controlling mid-corner speed. Mid-corner speed. So here we go, look at on the brakes, trailing brake pressure, keep that brake pressure, control mid-corner speed right here. That's where you want to control, and then get it pointed. Now you can accelerate. You see what I'm saying? Brake, light pressure. Look how long I'm carrying the brakes on for. All the way through down to right there. Then I'm off the brakes. Control that mid-corner speed. Get the direction. Slow. On the brake. I'm good. Off the brake slowly. Let the bike get pointed. Go. See that? So now let's say like, well, if I'm riding really slowly, then I don't have to do any of this crap. Okay, so let's go slow. I'm just gonna stay zero throttle, and I'm gonna go very slow. So let's see if the lean and pray technique will work, right? So here is very slow. I'm not using any brakes right now because I'm going slow. So let's see how this next tight right feels with zero brakes whatsoever, because people are like, oh, just slow down more. Okay, slowing down. Well, I thought I was slowing down. I'm actually maintaining the same speed or even speeding up. So even if you're going ridiculously slow, it is not a good idea to just not brake, right? So so straight away, people go a little bit quicker, roll off the throttle, you get on the brake. Here's the problem, you load the tire, screw it, let go of the brake, oh my God, and now you have to panic. And then when people brake mid-turn, they don't know how to brake super soft. They tend to grab it. And if you tend to grab the brake, that's when all the issues happen. It drives me nuts when people say don't touch the brake in the turn, you're going to crash. That's not true whatsoever, nor is it true that the bike's going to stand up and go wide. The only problem is if you grab the brakes, then maybe by grabbing the brakes, the tire will just wash out, or that abrupt movement, that abrupt thing of the suspension will cause the bike to stand up. But grabbing's the issue, not the brakes. Braking in the middle of the turn, who cares? Brake whenever you want to. It's just slow, light pressure. Remember that. So going downhill, mid-corner speed control is the name of the game. That is what you want to do. All right, so going up the hill, up the mountain, let's talk about trail braking now. So what do you do? So I'm off the brakes, or I'm off the throttle on the brakes a little bit. So now I'm off the brakes before the halfway, and now I crack it open to maintain that speed. If I don't do anything with the throttle after I'm done leaning and I'm on line, first of all, When you're done leaning and you're on line, that's when you crack open the throttle. Nothing happens with the throttle until you're done leaning and you're on the right line. So look at zero throttle, a little bit of brakes, done leaning, I'm on line. Now I crack open the throttle to maintain. And you wait until bike is pointed, then you can accelerate. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going and going and going, accelerating. Zero throttle on the brakes. Slowly release the brake, off the brake. And that's well before the halfway point because gravity is slowing me down. Now I don't want to keep on slowing down, so you're going to have a lot more maintenance throttle, steady throttle, neutral throttle, whatever you want to say, it's all the same crap. You'll have a lot more of that uphill versus down, okay? So just keep this in mind, this is very important. A lot of people love going uphill, but they're scared as whatever going downhill, and brakes are the reason. Slowly release the brakes. I'm already off the brake. I'm already back to neutral throttle. And look how long I'm at neutral throttle. I gotta wait till the bike is pointed before I could go. Roll off, let the bike turn, back on throttle. Roll off, let the bike lean until I'm on line, pointing in the right direction, back on throttle, accelerate. Zero throttle, on the brakes, on the brakes, on the brakes. Slowly roll off the brakes. Crack open throttle, neutral throttle. Wait. Roll back on. Roll off slightly, let the bike turn, a little bit of gas. Roll off slightly, let the bike turn, make it a straightaway, a little bit of gas. Zero throttle, lean, on line, then throttle, accelerate. Roll off slightly, let the bike turn, back on the gas. Zero throttle, let the bike turn, back on the gas. Zero throttle, on the brakes, really trail off the brake, back on throttle. Off the throttle, let it turn, steady throttle, neutral, wait, accelerate, wait, go, roll off, let the bike turn, zero throttle, on the brakes, slowly trail off the brakes, neutral throttle already. You see I'm doing that before the halfway point, because I'm going uphill. So you get the idea, right? So, let's recap. Downhill, you'll be on the brakes, more than likely past the halfway point because you want to control mid-corner speed. You still want to do the same thing uphill, but people love going uphill more than they love going downhill because the gravity will keep on slowing you down to the midway spot, right? But going downhill, you have to be the one that controls your mid-corner speed. Going uphill, you have an assistant. It's called gravity in the hill, right? That's why people like it more. So a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I didn't use much brakes going uphill. Okay. At the same pace you go downhill, you understand you're going to be using a whole lot of brakes going down at the same pace than you were going up. And a lot of people are like, really? Like, yes, you're going downhill. If you use no brakes going up and you think you don't have to use any brakes now going down, you're probably going to crash, right? On line, done leaning, crack open throttle. Now you wait until the bike is pointed, then accelerate. Zero throttle, little bit of brakes, let it turn, done leaning on line, back on throttle, accelerate once it's pointed. So some turns this all happens faster than I can even talk because it's like a 90-degree turn, but turns like this, like a 180, you can really feel the maintenance throttle a whole lot longer. And some turns like the little chicane right here, you're just rolling off the throttle. You're not really braking because it's too quick transitions. So a little bit of gas, roll off only. A little bit of gas, roll off only to let it lean, back on the gas. Roll off slightly, let it lean, back on the gas. Roll off slightly, let the bike lean, not even 0%, back on the throttle. Roll off and on the brakes, slight brakes, slow. Roll off, zero, let it turn, on line in the right direction. I can accelerate. Zero throttle on the brakes, I'm trolling off brake pressure, cracked open throttle, maintain, and accelerate. So for 90-degree type turns, by the time you're off the brake is pretty much the exact time the bike is pointing in the right direction. So you can pretty much start accelerating right away. On the 180s, right, the big U-turns, the tighter ones, right, then you'll be having a whole lot more maintenance throttle because the turn is a whole lot longer, obviously. So you want to get to the point where everything is just so second nature. You don't have to think about any of this stuff. So now your brain could be totally free just to worry about what if a deer pops out right now? What if there's gravel mid-turn? What if? And you could just have your full attention to think about the unknowns on public roads. But technique of what you're doing should not be one of the things you're worried about. That's the whole point, you see what I'm saying? So practice the technique enough to where like, oh, I don't even, whatever happens, I'll just deal with it because I know how to deal with it, because my brain is 100% ready to deal with it. Not 1% of my brain is dealing with, oh, what's the technique for this? You don't have to worry about that. That is already solid. That is already good. You see what I'm saying? So practice, 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 practice. And whenever you think you practice enough, practice even more. You could always be 1% better every time you ride if your mentality is to be 1% better. Because don't just ride, because then you'll end up riding 50 years and still be a horrible rider. Just riding is not improvement. Practice is something specific. All right? Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you next time.